Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sporticast Football. My name is Riyaz Parker, and we are on episode 72 of the 343 podcast. And I'm joined today, as usual, by the Erik ten Hag and the Gareth Southgate to my big Ange, AF and Jason.
It's wild start. Yeah.
I couldn't give him Arteta because Arteta's too good, so I had to give him Southgate. You know what I mean?
The Arsenal hate continues.
Why are you trying to knock me down? That's
hate
what have I done to you?
No, not really done anything, but I couldn't give you the upper hand in the situation. I had to give you a Southgate or give you I couldn't think of anyone else really, so just went to the Southgate. Anyways, how are you guys doing? You well?
Good. Can't complain. Was a bit sick over the weekend. Had some of the sniffles, but that's with all the weather going from extremely sunny to extremely cold in an instance. But that's Cape Town, I guess. But yeah, other than that, been enjoying the football and yeah, can't complain.
Good to hear, Jason.
Yeah, all good, man. All good. Happy to be back again. We are pushing out content every week, so it's nice to just find a place to talk about it and not annoy my parents anymore. But yeah, it's been going good. I thankfully haven't been sick, but I do echo AF statements. It's the hot to windy sort of I mean, we're not meteorologists, but yeah, it is crazy. Four seasons in one. Yeah.
4 seasons in one. And I mean, last week, I think it was on Thursday or I think on Friday or both maybe, there was just this sick heat that was in the air. It was very warm for some reason.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel very good. But I'm glad you guys are feeling good, feeling better. We're touching wood that we're not going to get those sniffles, but yeah, glad you guys are doing well. In today's episode, we are going to look at some transfers as usual. And from there, we are going into some Euro talk. Obviously, there's a couple of big games coming up, and we've had, I think, almost half of the round of 16 so far. So we'll be chatting all things Euros as well. But we'll start with transfers, and I think we'll go with Jason. Do you want to start us off?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, at the time of prep, we were asking around for transfers and things, and Archie Gray wasn't confirmed, but at the time of recording now, he has. I think it was confirmed early this afternoon. So, yeah, 40 mil, Leeds central midfielder. I'm not claiming to have watched a lot of his games. I've watched enough clips and I've watched enough highlights to see the sort of player that he is, and I think Spurs are they're falling backwards into a bowl of butter. I might have paraphrased that saying, but I think a very good youngster, very composed, and to do it in a championship setting where games come thick and fast, and to constantly perform. I think he was one of Leeds' better players alongside I think it's Casencio Somerville. So yeah, 40 mil. Brentford had an offer for 35 that was rejected, and yeah, he's now heading to North London. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a Joe Rodon swap that's going on as well. So he heads to Leeds, and I think there's a 10 mil sort of something there. So yeah, I think a good piece of business for Spurs, a good up-and-coming youngster in a position where I think they haven't had the most luck in the last few years. So yeah, I think it's a very good acquisition, and we said that we're signing for the future. So 40 mil for a championship player is unfortunately what you're going to pay.
That's ridiculous.
I don't even think it's 40 mil for a championship player, 40 mil for an 18-year-old English player. And I mean, that English tax strikes again. I mean, there's no other way to put it. You mentioned Brentford. I think Brentford were extremely close to closing this down, and then Tottenham came through at the 11th hour and just swiped him away. And I mean, that's the appeal of a bigger club. And you don't blame him for choosing that destination. But in all honesty, Tottenham is more they are bigger than Brentford. So like,
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't
for sure.
say the biggest club because there's no chance that I would
Would be
say that.
wrong. Yeah.
But yeah, man, like you said, a good talent for the future. It's a long-term deal that they signed him on. So yeah, excited to see what he will end up bringing to the Premier League. But yeah, Riyaz, do you feel good about this transfer as a Spurs supporter?
First of all, let me ask you guys quickly because I've done a bit of research on the guy, but do we have consensus as to where he plays, like predominantly?
I think it was
Central.
like central midfielder. So either,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to give positions, it's
So
either the holding
he's an 8.
midfielder, or he could be box to box. So
Yeah, because
yeah,
I think it said something about him playing half his games at right back and half his games in centre mid. So
Yeah,
it's quite
it's
interesting.
like sort of how Josh Kimmich was at one point where he was torn between like those two positions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very similar to that. Not that I'm like putting him on par with
Him.
Kimmich because there's
Yeah.
no chance at all. But yeah, just like it's used in a similar manner
Yeah.
between those two positions.
Which is, I guess, what we do nowadays at Spurs. We play
Yeah.
in the centre mid place, I guess, the right backs. But yeah, he looks like a good talent. He played over 40 games for Leeds in a championship side at 17 years old, so he must be doing something right.
Yeah.
40 million, like we said, is a bit much. I think also the Brentford deal was an issue with pay structure or something like that for what do you call that thing? FSP or something, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So they couldn't really get it over the line, but we somehow did. It's this financial fair play situations confuse me because people are doing crazy stuff. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, it looks good. I mean, one for the future, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because we kind of need to strengthen the team as it is now. We don't have a good team in the first place. So to buy someone for the future is kind of, yeah, it's great and all, but like let's look like what we can improve the first team because he's not going to come in and play 30 games for Spurs this season. So it's a good buy. 40 million is way too much, obviously, but it's that English tax that we talk about in the transfer market as it is. But I'm happy. I mean, it's good business at the end of the day. I think besides that price tag, to look for, I guess, in that position as well, someone who can play like Ange wants to play, because not a lot of right backs can do that. Not a lot of wing backs can kind of come and step inside and do a good job. So yeah, I think it's a really, really good piece of business for us. I just think that we need more. We need to sign, if we're doing more business in this transfer window, we need to sign more now than we do for the future, kind of a thing. Like we need to improve the kind of the team now. But I also think that we don't really need more eights. Like we have 60 billion eights. Like everybody in our team can play eights. We don't have a 6. That's the main issue. I think that's more of a pressing problem than 8 for us at the moment. But yeah. Anyways, so we all agree on that's it. He looks like a good, like kind of a good filler to kind of for the future, a good one for the future.
Yeah.
Agreed.
One for the future, but like you said, with Spurs midfield, I mean, there's Basuma, Madders, Hoiberg. I don't know if he's going to stay though. I think he might be out.
Yeah.
Ali Skip, he's still there as well. So
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of guys in that central midfield spot. So maybe he's going to be there to give Pedro Pardo a go at right back. I don't know. Like, going to have to wait and see.
I don't want to talk too long about Spurs because I think I might get physically ill. But yeah, it's those names that you are rattling off. Like, I mean, surely you can't be worse than Oliver Skip. You know,
Oliver Skip is a good left back.
Okay, so
he's a versatility player. So I mean, the guy can play anywhere. He'll do a good job, like anywhere on the pitch. So
yeah,
like just tell him to hold position and he'll do that.
Yeah, but it's at the point now where you can't settle for that, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
If you're wanting to push on, you can't have any pocket knives, right? You can't have a guy that's going to specialize in three different positions because where is his position then?
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
the names that you're rattling off there, it's like, if I'm him, I'm like, okay, I'm 18. I've just come off a full season where I've played consistently. I'm gonna take my chances.
Yeah,
Nobody's expecting anything from me, so it's even better for him to just come to the side and do what he needs to do, and then literally all he has to do is break down play and give it to Madison, Kulusevski, Son, Werner's, all of it. They're not expecting a lot from him, and I think that's possibly going to be his strength.
yeah,
So
very
yeah,
true.
that's the last thing I can feel my stomach starting to turn now. Sorry.
Yeah, thank goodness I called you Southgate, because if I called you Arteta, I would have been sick by now myself. Anyways, AF, up to you. You're next.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna go back to another Erik ten Hag favorite over here. He's been wanting to get him at United since he joined. It didn't really work out in the beginning, but it seems like Bayern have decided to let him go, or decided that they would cut their losses because the Ligt has been super injury prone. I can't remember. I read the stats. I think it was yesterday or the day before, but he hasn't really played much this past season. And even now at the Euros, he's been on the bench more often than not.
Yeah.
I think his transfer market value is about 65 million, but Bayern are seeking 50 million. That's just the rumors that's going around. I highly doubt that they're only looking for 50. I think that they would
When
want
United,
to.
what are you guys gonna pay, like 80 or something?
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, we all know how much Erik ten Hag admires De Ligt. He was his captain at Ajax. He trusted him with everything. So if Erik can try and get him at United with Varane that left, with Johnny Evans that doesn't have a contract at the moment, Lindelof being linked to Everton as well. So he's going to need to bring all these like centre back transfers in, and in my opinion, there's nobody better for Ten Hag to bring in than somebody that he trusts. But the injury thing is a huge concern for me, because if you bring him in and we have exactly the same thing that happened last season, where every single centre back that we had was injured during the season, I mean, then what's the point? We have a better footballing structure now, so there's more knowledge that will go into these discussions and these transfers. So I'm hoping that we can try to get the transfer fee down as low as possible. But yeah, also just the fact that, like, will it be a good fit for United with the medical issues that we've been having? But yeah, if they can iron out all of those things and they identify him as being somebody that can benefit us within the next 5 to 6 years, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think he's definitely someone that you guys can benefit you 100%. I think you need a strong centre back like him, and like you said, he's Ten Hag trusted him when he was like 20 or something like that to captain the side at Ajax. So he knows exactly the kind of leadership qualities that he has, and it's kind of what you need. And he's, to him partnering Martinez in the middle, I think will be really strong for United. So yeah, I think how much would you pay for him? Maximum amount?
I think between 45 and 50, like
Okay.
just based on his injury record,
Yeah.
because that's the wild card right now.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys don't, like you said, you guys have a terrible record for injuries.
Yeah.
But I think that he's a really good get. I think he's one of the better options at the moment that you could buy if he stays fit. I think he's been really, even though he's been displaced by Eric Dyer, which is kind of shocking. But yeah, Jason, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, look, Ten Hag is probably Frenkie de Jong and Dusan Tadic signing away from turning United into Ajax. He's trying to rally up the whole troop, right? And it's just unfortunate now that Ziyech signed for Galatasaray on a permanent, because otherwise that would have really completed the whole thing.
Yeah,
I have to echo the statement. I mean, look, if he's had an injury riddled season, it kind of doesn't bode well, especially with your current history of centre backs and injuries. And the need for them. But yeah, I think of the team, we obviously had the highest hopes for both him and Frenkie de Jong. And I think it's probably Frenkie that might have eclipsed that form that he showed maybe a little bit. But he also played in a very dysfunctional Barca team. Ligt made a move to Juve, now at Bayern. I think it's probably a move for him that will suit him. It will help
Could
him.
revitalize his career.
Yeah, exactly that. It's just whether he can stay fit, whether the physios can keep him fit, whether the medical staff can keep him at the most pristine level. And yeah, I think it'll be a massive signing. I think he will immediately show up that leaky back line, and then yeah, could definitely help you guys.
Yeah,
I see what you did there. Show up. Nice.
Oh, sure.
Pretty prone guys, eh?
Some good wordplay happening there. But yeah, I think that's a great. It'll be a great buy for United, regardless of the money I think they're going to spend, and I don't think they'll overspend. Hopefully, even though they overspent on Mount. But we'll move on to the next transfer, and that is, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. This is surprising to me because how is Chelsea affording to buy more players? Firstly, and secondly, how and why are they buying more centre mids? It's really confusing to me because I feel like they have. We just discussed our centre mids now. Spurs are centre mids, and we had like 6. Chelsea probably have like 8, and they want more. And it doesn't make sense. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall to Chelsea. Fabrizio apparently has said that it's on, and 30 million. I think 30 million. I guess is actually quite a decent, decent fee for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, because the one season he spent in the Premier League, I think he was very decent. That was his breakthrough season. I think before they got relegated that season when he was playing, and he looked pretty decent. He can play both as a CDM because he's got the legs, and as a cam. I think he's got some vision as well. So I think it's a good buy for Chelsea, a good get. But again, where does he fit into the team? I'm assuming they're going to sell Gallagher, and then he fits in there into Gallagher's role, because Enzo's there for another 10 years, and so is Caicedo. They're both there for another 10 years. So
Don't forget Lavia as well, eh?
Yeah, he's been injured the whole. I was going to say he's been injured the whole season, but he's also still in the wings. So I mean, it's ridiculous to know where these guys are going to play. But he's had a good season again for Leicester as well in the Championship, and I think he deserves to get. I wouldn't have said Chelsea. I'll be honest. I thought maybe he would have gone to maybe let's say Bournemouth or like someone. Spurs actually finished above Chelsea, but anyways, someone lower than Chelsea. But also, okay, let me rephrase once again. A lesser, like not a big team. I still feel like United's a big team, you know. But yeah, guys, killing me at the moment. Jason, your thoughts on Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall's transfer?
It has to be because Leicester's manager now manages Chelsea. I think that's probably the best way that we can describe it. And he was their standout player last season. I think he contributed both with goals and assists. A large part of the reason why they came up as in the manner that they did. I think 30 mil is a crazy price when you're playing for somebody that's played in the Prem and he proved himself in the Championship. So he's got a bit more experience than, not to look very far, Archie Gray. And you now feel this one for like 30 mil. I don't know how Chelsea are doing it. I think with the PSR rules now as well, and they've been selling a few players off, and it's definitely with the idea that they're going to get rid of a few more players. So Conor Gallagher could fetch a decent amount of money if he is going to leave. And then there's a few other players that are on the books that can still get good value. They'll somehow manage to make it work, and they'll make a few more sales, and then they'll make a few more signings, and they'll again sit with 65 players before the start of the season in August. So
probably loaning like 30 of them out.
Yeah,
I don't see why Kiernan might not be loaned out once they have the preseason time and these 100 more players start performing. Yeah, maybe he's just on the out somewhere there. I don't think it will happen, but I'm also not going to rule anything out because of Chelsea. So, yeah, I think it's a good signing. I think it's a good move for him. Whether he gets a game time, that's really up to how well he can actually perform.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, just so you mentioned that he had some Premier League experience already, and yeah, like I mean, he performed well. There were a lot. I think United were linked with him at one point during that season. I think Chelsea were linked with him as well. I think Liverpool were actually linked with him during that season too. So there were a lot of big clubs that he caught the eye of,
Yeah,
and I mean, like I watched like a lot of those games during that season, and he he looked good. Like I mean, his close control was really good. His eye was really good. I'm not surprised that a big club came in for him. But yeah, I mean, where's this dude gonna play? Like, what is like the so? I think it was Brighton that might have also been in for him.
Oh, that would have been good.
Um,
which
I
would have been a
think
good move. Yeah,
I
Yeah.
think it was. I think Brighton, Chelsea hijacked. Let me just check quickly. Yeah, he was busy with his Brighton medical, and Chelsea hijacked the deal. So I feel like that would have been a much better place for him to go, to build some more experience, to get much more game time than he's going to be getting at Chelsea.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, gonna have to see how it works out. But yeah, like you said, it's gonna be a like for like. Gallagher's going to be on his way out as soon as he's back from the Euros. I think he hasn't really showered himself in glory during this Euros either. Every time he's come on, but yeah, like that's a like for like replacement, and I hope Dewsbury will get some game time. I wish him all of the best. But yeah, he should have gone to Brighton.
Yeah, for sure. Just before we get onto the Euro talk, I wanted to ask you guys: are there any like interesting transfers that have gone through already that you guys want to talk about? Anything like that, Jason?
yeah, just a few really. So Spain's main centre back now, one of the main centre backs, Robin Lenormand. We've probably butchered that pronunciation. He is gone off to Atletico.
What a player!
What a great performance last night as well. We've got a lot of free agents moving around. So we've got Ben Johnson that was at West Ham. He's now gone to Ipswich. Obviously, the big news was Douglas Luiz and his girlfriend going to Juventus. So that had been confirmed as well.
Oh,
Brentford
did Alicia go with him?
yeah, she signed for Juve
Dude, that
ladies.
is huge.
Yeah, in the
I mean,
first couple of transfer, actually, it's really giving Love Island vibes, to be honest.
nah, but that's crazy because she's like a flagship player for that Villa women's team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is.
It's crazy.
So she's gone, he's gone. Brentford signed a striker from Club Brugge, I think, Igor Thiago. And then, yeah, just while we're on Club Brugge, and this is a bit more local actually, we've got a South African kid that played at Supersport that's apparently confirmed to have signed for Club Brugge, Chandre Campbell. So, yeah, it's a little shout out to him. Shout out to Supersport as well for facilitating that and not selling him off to Sundowns. Always win when a local kid goes overseas as opposed to just moving in Johannesburg. So, yeah, that's just a few things. And I think there's a lot more of the free agents, and there's going to be a lot more moves between academies where they're signing and selling players, which we've seen a lot. And I think that's definitely something we need to keep an eye out for. Yeah.
Yeah. AF, do you have any specific ones?
Yeah, from my side, I just want to. I wish I had a magnifying glass here now or something. I just want to like hold it like that because what is happening over at Newcastle, man? These dudes, Yankuba, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I think
Yeah.
he's a 18-year-old kid. He was signed from Feyenoord. He
Yeah.
hasn't appeared for Newcastle at all in the first team. The dude was, I think he was sent out on loan or something like that after
Yeah.
they bought him. But yeah, they've just sold him to Brighton for 30 mil. Guy that hasn't played a minute of Premier League football. He's extremely young, and yeah, Newcastle just secured the bag over there. And then Elliot Anderson. as well. 35 million. Um, he he's a decent player,
To where?
but I think he joined
Nottingham
Forest.
Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Forest.
So yeah, I mean, like obviously we spoke about PSR earlier, like them trying to like balance the books to make sure that they are within financial fair play. But yeah, I mean, it's all going to be happening moving forward. We're going to be seeing more and more deals like this happening. Clubs paying over the odds for um players that really shouldn't be walking away with those price tags.
Don't
Um,
let Wasim hear
and
you say that.
and no, but like I'm calling it like I see it. There's
Yeah,
no
no,
way that
100%.
I think Elliot Anderson should be sold for 35 mil, and Yankuba, who hasn't played a minute of Premier League football, should be going to Brighton for 30 mil.
Yeah.
But another Newcastle outgoing that is a Manchester United incoming, and he's done with his gardening leave. Mr. Dan Ashworth, welcome to Manchester United. He starts
Woohoo.
immediately with all, I think the discussions and all of those negotiations that was completed this morning. And yeah, he begins his work immediately, starting to work with Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada. Both of them who also arrived at the club within the last 2 months or so from Southampton and Manchester City. So yeah, our football department is finally shaping up to what we expected it to be, and now we can actually just move forward with transfers and making things back to getting things back to the way they should be at United. One downside for United though, the fact that the men's team are still remaining quiet over what's happening over with the women's team, and we are paying the price for it. All of these amazing women are leaving Manchester United. Mary Earps, Nikita Paris is rumored to go as well. Katie Zalem, who is our captain, she's rumored to go. And at at this junction, I think Elatoon is probably going to be on her way out as well.
You know
And
where she's going at.
an entire no,
You know where she's gonna go join
If you
stay
up with
leave,
away,
she's
dude.
definitely
Stay
with
going
her
to.
best
away.
friend. With her
But
best
yeah,
friend.
like United need to get their things in order. They need to start like respecting the women's team much more, and I think it's going to get much bigger than this. People are going to start protesting, and yeah, they need to start rectifying all of their wrongs immediately.
Yeah, it's
Too
hectic. It's been hectic. I think Jason's definitely singing a song, and it's going to definitely come through in terms of that regard. But also, I just want to pick up on the thing you said about Nottingham Forest and this PSR situation. They get dock points this season, and now they're overspending for a midfielder. That makes no sense, really, for Nottingham Forest. But anyways, that's the end of our transfer talk. We're going to go into our Euro talk now. If you're on YouTube, just keep your eye out for that drop. But we're going to go into Euro talk right about now. I want to kind of start our Euro talk chat with, I guess let's start with England because, it was interesting to watch last night. They are really bad. I mean, there's so much individuality. They have great players, like world class players. But they look like uninspired. They look drab. They look boring. They look defensively kind of sound sometimes. If I'm going to come to you first, what are your thoughts about the England game? And did you expect them to lose after, I guess, 90 minutes had gone?
Dude, I felt so bad for Slovakia.
Mm.
Watching England that entire game, that was the biggest pile of trash that I've seen on a soccer pitch in a very, very long time. Oh my God. I can't believe what I watched. And I think I've gotten to the point now where Phil Foden should not start for England. I mean, it's no surprise that the moment he left the pitch, England looked so much better. Like loads and loads better. It's crazy. And the fact that England didn't, the XG was 0.00
Yeah,
up until the 95th minute,
Mm.
yeah.
which is wild.
In
I mean,
120
that
minutes,
team
they only had
is
two shots on goal. I mean, 2 shots on target. 2 shots,
yeah,
and those were the
I mean,
goals.
those were the 2 goals. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It's
ridiculous.
nah, and I mean, it's basically just saved Gareth Southgate for another match day.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to revert back to his old ways again, and then hope that his players save him in the dying minutes. It's Switzerland, right? That they have
Yeah,
in the next match. Yeah, I mean that whole Ivan Toney thing. Gareth Southgate came out afterwards, and then he said, "Yeah, he told Ivan Toney like I'm sorry that I'm only giving you like a minute," and then he said Ivan Toney was like pissed. He was like
yeah,
fuming.
Yeah.
But I mean, Ivan Toney was the one that glanced, or he glanced the header for Kane so that he
Yeah.
could nod it in. And then I
Yeah.
think the Jude bicycle that was glanced by Gay, if
yeah,
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So, but like Ivan Toney, he made a lot of things happen the moment he came on. But yeah, I mean, Gareth Southgate's gonna do what Gareth Southgate's gonna do, and they were trash, man.
Yeah, Jason, I mean, how do they expect to fix what they're doing? Or does Southgate think that there's anything to fix? Because I mean, he waited for like 80 minutes to bring on like someone decent. He made one change in 80 minutes, and then he started making changes, I guess. So, how did you see the game going? How did you see it went, and how did you feel like England are gonna? Do they need to try and change something in the semi or the quarterfinals?
Yeah, I think they need to realize that just because you have some of the best players in the world, it doesn't mean that they're just going to immediately gel. I think all of the best players that are in that team play in very different systems. And now you're bringing that and you're assuming that suddenly, after they've had great individual seasons, they'd be able to just replicate that. But the teams are set up, and the teams that they play for are set up in a way to cater to them. So now you're setting up a national team to cater to all of these guys' best individual strengths, and it's not working as a collective. It was very shocking yesterday, and out of all the changes, you have a guy like Trent Alexander who's on the bench, and the whole reason for Kyle Walker starting is to protect us. I say us like an England fan. I'm really not, but to protect England against fast wingers, to protect them against this, but Kyle Walker was at fault for the first goal yesterday, and he's not done anything that's like dramatically said that he needs to start. In a game like that, where you're struggling to create chances, where everything's being very, they were set up very defensively sound, right? You just want somebody who's going to be spamming in balls. I mean, put a cross in. You have Jude as a late runner. You have Harry Kane. Yeah, I think Southgate is playing it way too cautious, and he's trying to accommodate everybody. I saw somebody say online, they were saying about how Florian Wirtz was Bayer Leverkusen's best player last season. Jamal Musiala as well for Bayern Munich. But they recognize that they can't coexist in that team at that moment in time. And they put Florian Wirtz on the bench. So where he was still one of their best players, for the game, they changed their system, which I don't think Southgate has the cojones to do. He's so afraid, and I think all these guys have something on him, because you're saying that you're sorry to give Ivan Toney this few minutes and he's furious. What about Ollie Watkins, who played so much better than Ivan Toney, who could possibly offer so much more than Ivan Toney, and now you're saying sorry to him, and then
Especially off the left wing.
Yeah, and that's a guy like Anthony Gordon. I mean, in the game that he came on, he showed so much, and then suddenly the next game he's just iced out, and it's like, I don't know. I'm happy that I'm not a coach, and it is obviously easier to say these things here, but he just needs to own his decision and not just try and please everybody. Like, have a team that's upset. Foden coming off the bench might be the best thing that England needs, because he's going to be so willing and wanting to prove himself that maybe influences the game as he would at like Man City. So that's my very passionate plea. I mean, not that I support England once again, but
You could have fooled me.
it's so frustrating because there's so many good players, and it's
Yeah.
going to turn into the same situation where, similar to Belgium and similar to the England of early to mid 2000s, they're not going to win anything. They're going to have all the best players, and they're not going to, because they're not going to have anybody, or they're not going to have a coach that's willing to actually say, look here, this isn't working for us, let's change it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see about that. They do have a very easy side of the draw, so they might make it back a little.
People are writing Switzerland off, right?
No.
I think
Damn
they
it.
have a chance to do something very tasty.
Agreed.
Yeah, let's maybe circle back to that when something tasty does happen.
Which is probably going to be this weekend when England plays Switzerland.
Yeah.
But I want to quickly jump on something you said about Kyle Walker. He was shocking. He was so bad in that game. It was unbelievable. When last have we seen Kyle Walker been beaten on the wing like more than once in the game? They beat him consistently. They were skinning him alive there on the right wing, and Southgate refused to bring on Trent. It was just shocking.
Can I just mention something quickly? And it's not going to be I wouldn't like categorize this as an excuse, but do you notice that so far in this Euros, a lot of the Manchester City players haven't really performed at the standards that we think or we would hope that they perform at? And I think that's just the case of the standard is set so high for them during the season that, like, to keep on replicating that postseason, to maintain those standards, you'd have to be superhuman to do that. And I mean, like, we saw Rodri is just like on another level. But like Kyle Walker, Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva doesn't even look like his normal self when he plays for Portugal, or when he played in the group stages. So I think the levels that Pep sets with him during the season is so high, and then by the time the season winds down and they go postseason, and now they're in a major tournament, they could be mentally tired already, and like they're trying to push themselves to reach that, but it's just not, they're struggling to get to that level again.
Yeah, for sure. I think the one good thing was that Manu played really well. I think he's been like very, very good for England so far. So that's been a good thing. So they obviously play Switzerland coming up, or beat Italy 2-0. How do we see that going? Honestly, how do we see that going?
I think they'll probably frustrate England again, and I'm saying they'll frustrate them like they're going to set out to play defensively. But I think in their style of football, they'll be able to do it very comfortably, the same way that they were able to frustrate Italy. They will play very creatively, and I think they have an excitement about them. Whether they win the whole thing, I don't know. They seem like they can do enough to get to like the semi, but I think they're moving in a very good direction, and it can be a very sticky slope for England.
Yeah, AF, I just wanna get to you quickly because last week we didn't speak about them, so I really wanted to speak about your team. A 4-1 win against Georgia, going to play Germany in the next round. Tasty picture, that one. Have you seen your tournament, and how was that win against Georgia? Was it pretty good?
Yeah, so I mean, like, from the offset, Spain were attacking. They were trying to like knock that door down. I think the first 10 minutes, they had about 13 corners or 12 corners. It was crazy. And then obviously Georgia hit them on the counter, which we knew was going to happen, because that's how they've been playing the entire tournament. And Spain kept on overcommitting. They kept on trying to push, and Georgia saw this one gap, and it was a Lenormand own goal at the end of it all. But yeah, I mean, like, that was the danger that Georgia posed. And Ferrach, what's his name?
Kvaratskhelia.
That guy, the Napoli legend. Like he's
decent.
like
He's a player.
we know how good he is, and we know the skills that he possesses. So he was always going to be the one to watch. But I think after Rodri scored that first goal, and just like a few minutes before he scored that goal, I just saw him like looking to everybody. He had the ball in midfield, he received it, he looked around and he just told, while he had the ball, he just
Hmm.
told everybody, "Karma, karma."
Yeah.
It was just like I had this guy, man, like, yo, I'm gonna miss him one day when he's not playing for Spain anymore. But
Yeah.
that's not gonna be for a very long time. But yeah, I mean, he's like, I just spoke about like the levels of Manchester City players, and he's just like kept that amazing
Yeah.
level. And at clutch moments, I mean, he's done it throughout the season when City needed goals and Spain needed a goal there. Guy just slotted it in. And yeah, it was after that it was just one-way traffic, and Nico
Yeah.
Williams, Danny Olmo, amazing. One guy, Alvaro Morata, please do not start him. He offers absolutely nothing to that
He's the
team.
captain, man. He's the captain. He has to start. He has no choice.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
look, he's just a central point, and he just occupies players because they just get the ball to those wingers, and it's the first time that I actually watched them together, like actually just focused on their output, and
Yeah.
they are something else. Both of them together,
They are
it's great.
freaks. Man. It's ridiculous. I mean, same. The first time I also watched them like out and out, like focused on them because like there was so much hype around it, and the way they move the ball, like it's actually unbelievable. It's quite sick.
Yeah, after 15 minutes, then they showed that like stat for passes and position
Yeah.
and stuff like that. After 15 minutes, I think Spain had like 299 passes, and Georgia had like 40.
Yeah,
So
that's
it was like crazy.
That's ridiculous. Just before we end off, though, I want to just so obviously we're recording this on the Monday. So in a couple of minutes' time, there is a massive game, probably the biggest game of the round of 16, which is France against Belgium. Kicks off in about 10 minutes. I want a prediction for that. How do you think the game is going to go? Jason, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think both teams have failed to deliver on all of the promise that was supposed to be shown. I think it's going to be a bit cagey. I think there'll be a lot of end-to-end stuff, but I don't think real breakthrough. And I'm saying this in a reverse psychology method here, just so that there's some excitement for us. It is Monday after all, first of the month. Yeah, I think my prediction is France will still be too strong, and I think they'll go through. I just think Belgium don't have what it takes. It's not the Belgium of the 2014 World Cup. It's not any of those Euro teams after that. So, yeah, I'm going to go France to win it.
AF?
Like we spoke in the last episode about France's over-reliance on Mbappe, and I think that if they get that out of the entire system, and they just start playing like a proper cohesive unit, then they can put Belgium in the review mirror very early into the game. But if they keep on just looking to Mbappe as a focal point, just try to get the ball to him, Belgium are going to be set up for that initially anyways. I would think so. And by trying to look for Mbappe, they're just going to try to corner him out of the game, and they will just try to get the ball to De Bruyne, get the ball to Doku, and try to make something happen. So it would be nice to see Belgium go through, but I think that France would have learned the lesson by now and just try to be cohesively stronger and just more robust in that way. And yeah, I think France ends up going through.
Yeah, they're also not playing Dembele. They started Griezmann this time around. So they're playing kind of a diamond in midfield. And in terms of Belgium's team, they're playing 4 at the back and then Carrasco as well. So Carrasco is no longer playing as a left back; he's playing up the left wing. So it's going to be interesting to see. It says here it's a 4-4-2, so we'll see how that goes for Belgium. I think that Belgium have been crap this whole tournament. I think they've been shocking. I think De Bruyne has shown. I mean, De Bruyne is De Bruyne. He's one of the best midfielders in the world. He has these times where he does amazing things. But I think as a team, they've been absolutely shocking this whole tournament. But I do think that this game is going to go to penalties. I'll do Jason's opposite opposite reverse psychology, where I think it's going to be a boring 0-0, and it's going to go to penalties. And I guess it has to be France. I guess that's going to win it at the end of the day. But just that Netherlands-France game is giving me flashbacks. So I feel like this one will also be a bit of a 0-0. Either that, or it's going to be like 4-0 France. It could be something ridiculous like that. But yeah, that's been our episode for today. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Where can we find you, Jason?
Yeah, so just at Jason_Ronnie on X, TikTok, Instagram, yeah, Threads. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, my favorite part of the episode.
So maybe like in the future, I can outsource this part to you, seeing that you love it so much.
It's just like it's so nice and concise.
Yeah, at AF Parker 642 on all social media platforms. Yeah, come chat to me about how amazing Spain has been so far.
I'm sure I will be trying to do that once the Netherlands get knocked out. You can follow me at Parker_Riyaz on X and at Parker7 on Instagram, and also follow the channel at Sportycast as well. Like, share, and subscribe. Share with everybody. Come talk to us about your opinions of the Euros, of the transfers. Engage with us, and it'll be really fun, I think. We're always keen for engagement, and also your hot takes, because we love a bit of spicy takes as well. That's always fun to do. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week for 343.